Many people have asked me how to brake. Well, today I'm going to explain why threshold braking is the best for rental karting. In rental karts, you need to keep the revs high, and because you're dealing with many different corners, the key is to apply the correct amount of brake pressure for each specific corner. A tight corner, such as a hairpin turn, requires more braking compared to a right or left-hander, which is wider and requires less braking. Now, threshold braking is where you'd apply a high amount of brake pressure for a short period. This allows you to slow your go-kart down quickly and sufficiently to take a corner. When done correctly, it also helps you keep your momentum and your revs high. Because the brakes are located at the rear, the idea with threshold braking is that you're pressing the brakes hard enough whereby the rear end of the kart will start rotating. This helps you turn your kart, and you'll actually be applying a slight bit of opposite rotation when cornering. It's also important that you establish a braking point for each corner. This is the exact location where you would press the brake pedal on track. Additionally, you can use a reference point to help you establish a braking point. A reference point is something in your peripheral vision, such as a tire, a barrier, or even a marking on track. The idea is to use the reference point as a gauge on when to press the brake pedal. For example, when I was learning this track, I would start braking at the beginning of this curb. But as I did more laps and became more confident, I started braking later and later down the curb to about halfway, which is where I found the limit. Now, let's look at two examples of different corners, and then I'll run you through the stages of braking. Our first example is this tight hairpin turn at Sutton Circuit. Step 1 is to identify a reference point, and the orange tyre on the right hand side is roughly where I'd be hitting the brake pedal. As we get towards it, we're going to hit the brake pedal hard with a good amount of brake pressure. The key now is to wait and feel for the rear end of the kart to start rotating. Initiate your turn-in as you'd normally do for a corner, and once you initiate that turn-in, now you'll slightly feel the rear end of the kart step out on you, and that's exactly what's happened here. You can see we've neutralized our steering rotation to the middle, and now we're going to get back onto the accelerator pedal and apply a slight bit of opposite rotation. Look at how slight I mean. That's very, very subtle opposite rotation. Get close to the inside edge over here, hit your apex point, and power out of the corner. Remember, you're already on the accelerator pedal, you're building up that momentum, and you're maximizing that exit speed. Our second example is this fast right-hander at the Brentwood karting track. Step 1 is to identify a reference point, and in this case, about halfway down the curb on the left-hand side is where I plan to hit the brakes. So as we get to the halfway point, we're going to hit the brakes hard now, and what we're going to do is initiate our turn-in, and this time we can get onto the accelerator a lot earlier, so we're back onto the accelerator now, and as the rear end of the kart just steps out on us, we neutralize our steering to the middle. This is where you need to be smooth and subtle with your steering, a slight bit of opposite rotation, as you can see, ever so slightly, as we target a mid to late apex for this right-hander. Get nice and close to the inside edge. We're full on power over here, maintaining that momentum and trying to maximize our exit speed. It takes time and practice to perfect threshold braking. You need to find the limit of hard braking, because if you press the brake pedal too hard, you'll lock the rear tires and go off spinning into the barrier. If you're new to karting, check out the How to Race playlist, where you can find informative videos which will help you improve your lap times. Additionally, you can download our free Go Karting ebook, which covers the key points and helps you understand the basics of karting. Now, if you did enjoy today's video, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let us know what techniques you use for braking in karting.